Yeah, I'm still here.
Event Horizons here, Earth Flattener. Your original account is still on the Hangout, right?
In the back chat maybe, but I'm not on.
Right, so I'll remove Earth Flattener out of it because
Okay,
you're
that's
in
fine.
on this one. I've just got a massive list of people. Daniel Brooks, are you still here?
Hi, Anthony. Yeah, I'm here.
And Chocolate?
Nope.
Nope.
Chocolate's gone.
I think he might have got sniped. It's good getting organised in the gap.
And Arwen's not here, is he? I can kick him.
Yeah, I am here.
He's here.
Down.
No, don't muck around. It'd be nice to actually have it like reasonably organised. There is a gap right now, and I need to set up the main page again. Now I can actually share. At least know what to do if it all goes tits up on the next one, or on this one when it goes live, I should say. Right. Who's playing music?
That's Riley.
There we go. Drop that Hangout page onto that. That's it. That looks good. Excellent. Okay, I think we're all set up for the next show. That was a good show, that was. Anthony, can you turn the music off?
Oh, sorry. Didn't know you could hear it.
Yeah, I'm not going to give Rumpus any more opportunities. If he's going to come in and immediately lie, I'm just going to immediately kick him. It's like, if you want to come in and lie about stuff, and when I catch you out, immediately go, yes, it's the best kind of science ever. You know, that kind of lie is just going to get him kicked out immediately from now on. I'm not asking for approval.
Tell him that publicly now so that he knows.
I did. I said exactly that. It's like, no, you get one chance. If you're going to just lie, sod off. Same in the chat. So he was in the chat before he came, and he was basically, while you were doing your presentation, you haven't even presented it yet, and he's like, you don't understand and you're dumb. So I was like, right, I'm just going to time you out because, you know, you might have a 1% influence being in the chat. Well, no, you know, if you're just going to come in and claim that you're stupid, there's going to be that 1% of people that go, maybe he doesn't know what he's talking about. It's like, he hasn't even read it yet, was what was going through my mind when I timed him out. And then he came back and he's like, well, they're just scared. It's like, what, of being ad-hommed? No, I just don't want you ad-homming us from the chat, sod off. So I timed him out again, then he joined. And it's like, well, let's just establish that this isn't science. It's the best kind of science, right? Sod off. That's your 3 strikes.
Yeah, it's definitely not science. It is technology, and he can't see that. He needs it to be science.
He can see that. That's why when I asked him what the observed phenomena was, that's where it all gets rumpusy. Hello.
We need to emphasise more the difference between science and technology because they clearly don't get this, and Nummy doesn't get it, and that's why I blocked Nummy. He thinks technology can be science, and I'm like, it's not, dickhead.
Well, it's defined as. It's because they've hijacked the meaning of science. It's like, no, when you say science, you immediately mean experimental-based, scientific method-based science. That's what science is. So when they start saying, well, no, we can do it on a phenomena that's based on a man-made device firing something into the fucking sky, excuse my French, what a load of bollocks.
But no, you're right. You've got to pull him up on these things, Nathan. I agreed with you from the start, from a couple of days ago when Rumpus came in. So yeah, I'll stick to your stance, man. You are right, I think. Got 3 chances. If he's going to add on, call everybody stupid, say we don't understand what we're talking about, without presenting anything. Yes, mate.
Are you sure we've not met before? I recognise your voice, and I'm just trying to picture where.
No, man, not at all. I very, very, very rarely venture out of Kent, to be honest with you. Up to London sometimes to visit my mother, but that's about it.
Maybe you both met at Buckingham Palace.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we all know the Queen. No, but my name's Robert, mate. Yeah, I don't know if you recognise my name.
Robert what?
Pratt.
Robert Pratt. No, I don't recognise the name. I recognise the voice.
It might just be the accent then, mate.
Sometimes people's voices sound familiar, you know?
Riley.
Yo.
I got into the panel on Poncho Pete, and I pretty much told them, not everything, but I explained exactly what was happening and what's going on, what you're doing. Most of the people don't know what you're doing. Is it possible that you could jump into Poncho Pete anytime and explain exactly what's happening? Because it's very, very interesting that you're getting into the academia, and they started talking about that on the channel.
Poncho Pete, I've tried to get in his channel before, and he just completely ignores me. I got bored, and I don't know enough about him to be able to have any trust like to him. He doesn't. I don't think he knows who I am. I've tried, but it's useless going in Poncho Pete's channel.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they're live, and there's also a PayPal link in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you would like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now, we are joined by The Plain Truth, Sleeping Warrior, Physics Warrior, Jose, Flat Earth Vegan Goy, Flat Earth... another Flat Earth whose name I can't see. Flat Earth, I can't read that.
Flat Earth Etch-a-Sketch. It's
Flat Earth Etch-a-Sketch. Very good to have you here. Yeah, so we got Event Horizon, Daniel, and Arwin. Good to have you all.
Good afternoon.
I'm never showing my face in public again.
You can't be a diva about this. You're supposed to play it cool. Play it cool. Don't be a diva.
Right. Got it.
I thought you were in the shower.
No, I wasn't in the shower.
Can you not give us a rendition again? Because it was quite good, actually.
I thought you didn't like it.
Let's move on to housekeeping, please.
Any signs of curvature?
No. Nope. Miles Davis has been debunked.
Got any glow beds on the panel?
No, they're dead, shadow face.
No.
No?
Utter nonsense.
Utter.
Well, let's just rattle through it then. Any signs of axial rotation of the Earth-based variety?
No.
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 Any scientific evidence of gravity?
Nope.
No.
No.
Zero.
Any evidence of the distance to the sun?
No.
Nope. There's no distance to the sun.
Word is spurious.
Any evidence that you can have a gas pressure without a container? So space, the vacuum, without a membrane next to Earth with gas pressure. Any evidence of that?
No.
Waiting for proof.
What about a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth? Any evidence of that?
No.
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 That's ridiculous.
It's pretty bad.
None at all.
Nope.
And last but not least, any evidence of the R value, Earth radius, gentlemen?
No.
Nope.
No.
No.
No. Well, that concludes housekeeping pretty quickly. Excellent stuff.
It's not that good, is it? If you're a baller, it's pretty crap quality evidence that you believe in the first place, and there is no evidence. It's just a bunch of morons.
Yeah, whenever I bring it up with someone, they always like give some really weird example of how the Earth is round. That, like, I was talking to my brother, and he was saying something about when you travel at 50 degrees south, it should be shorter than 30 degrees or something. Then we got into this whole argument about it, just on that one point about something that doesn't really make any sense anyway, regardless of all the other stuff. I mean, what I'm saying is like, they just get focused on like one particular point and try to win it no matter what. And then you get sidetracked and just like trying to figure out how they even measure this stuff. And usually it's always, they assume they're on a sphere to begin with, you know?
Yep.
Yeah, there's not a lot of evidence for a sphere, unfortunately. Miles Delia Davis thinks that he found a really good one. Misrepresented our position, couldn't do the maths, assumed our... A lot of nonsense. He knows better. He's dishonest.
I mean, they extrapolate based on the movements on the sun, the moon, the stars. So they see the lights in the sky, the behavior, and they just extrapolate. They are physical objects very, very far away, and they are going antipode when they go away when we don't see them no more. So it's just a lot of speculations.
Yep.
Physicality, assumption,
if
bias.
you go to like where the ocean is and you just look at the horizon, shouldn't you see a curve? It's like when you think about, if you look left to right, like how many miles across are you actually looking at? If you're looking 30
Depends on
miles,
how far you can see.
so if you see like, so if you're looking 20 miles away, but if you look all the way to your right and all the way to your left, what's like that span you're looking at?
It depends on how far you can see. You see, the further you see, the bigger that distance is.
Because you should be able to start to see like a slightly like drop off a little bit, right? Like, or is it too not big enough? You're like not.
Oh no! Look at sound. There's Pontchartrain stuff, and look how small it is. According to what they say, it's really small. But then when you come and try and do it, they say, "Don't be ridiculous. You're like a gnat on the Earth. The Earth's huge." So they contradict themselves. On the one hand, they say sounding makes the Earth look like a basketball, and they accept it. But on the other hand, when we come and try and test it, they say, "But the Earth is huge." It's completely contradictory.
Yeah, last time I was on an airplane, like everything just seemed like the horizon. I tried to like look, and like it didn't seem like it dropped off or anything. You know, you couldn't see any curve at all. It's like you just get like a straight edge out and you line it up to the horizon, and it's like level. You're on a ball, you should see some sort of like reflection towards the end, right? Like if you're looking at the ocean. I mean, you just have to use your eyes, and it's pretty obvious. I mean, here, like right now in Michigan, you can't see really anything because of how high up you are. But if you're on the coast, like California,
You do have to be a moron to believe that you live in a ball. I'm sorry, guys, but you do. If you think you live in a ball, that's fine. Beliefs, fine. But if you actually believe it because it's based on evidence, sorry.
Yeah.
I think
There
if
is
you
no
believe,
evidence for the spinning pressure fantasy ball in a vacuum.
believing in the ball is like being a Man United fan. In the 90s, it was acceptable, but now it's just ridiculous.
So, any evidence of the moon?
Any evidence of the moon?
Yes.
Of the moon?
Oh,
I can see.
Travis.
The nature of the moon, or?
No, we're on about the new moon. Yeah, we forgot about the new moon.
Oh, right.
Travis, any signs of the moon?
I've got cloudy skies, but the past couple days, yeah, it's up there. The Sky app shows you exactly where it is, but it's off by degrees of the sun. You know, it's not in a line with the sun, so it's at an angle. So we should have some sort of sliver we should be able to see, but it's not there.
Hold on, we missed the end 3 words because someone talked over them or moved something around. Is it there? Can you see it with your camera or your eyes?
No, it's not visible.
Right. It should be visible. It's in a position in the apps where it shows it would be visible. But it's not visible.
Correct.
Okie dokie.
So is there anybody that wants to venture an explanation for why that's the case? Because we should be seeing the moon right about now, boys and girls, and challenge anybody out there, be it England, America, Australia. Anybody see the moon? Because it should be seen. According to your model, we should be able to see it.
Anybody in the chat see the moon? Now?
I can't see it today. It's snowing.
Showing goes out internationally. There's plenty of people in Australia and America watching right now.
It's almost 9:30 in the morning in Texas, United States, and I don't even see the sun because it's so cloudy. So yeah, it's gonna be a no-no for me. I think if I try to look for it.
Cloudy over here.
It's 7:30 in California. I watched the sun come up. I watched the path of where the moon was a couple of days ago, and it is not to be found today. It's clear skies.
So if the moon was there, would you expect to see it?
I'd expect to see it just about where I've seen it the last couple of days, right in the path of the sun.
This is the point.
Yeah, so, I mean, think about it this way, right? So I just got on the Skyview app and I looked up at it and the angle is open, right? So the moon is on an angle open to the sun, so we should have a surface reflection. So what we have to do, at least in theory, as we think through this, is when we get the first sliver of the waxing moon, how much of a degree has changed since it was new moon and couldn't be seen to where it can now all of a sudden start to be seen? Is it that drastic of an angle that all of a sudden, oh, now we see it?
Well, no, we should see it. We're not lined up perfectly behind it from the sun's perspective. We're not in the shadow of, because that would be the eclipse part of it. But because we're not in the shadow part, it means that we should be able to see the slither. We should see a crescent. It was missing for a period between 3 and 4 days for everybody on the planet, regardless of where you are. Shouldn't happen.
Right.
It should be present. Where is it?
Right, but was my point missed? My point is tomorrow or the next day when we first start to see the sliver, why is that such a drastic change from today so that all of a sudden we're seeing it now? My point is that the angle isn't going to be that significant to then be able to see it.
Well, did you see the moon yesterday?
No.
And did you see the moon the day before?
No.
So are we on day 3 now?
I believe so.
So basically, when we see it tomorrow, according to Thierry Legault, when you see the moon, the new moon, the first phase of the first new moon, it's that severe. Sorry, it's that like faint that he's got the world record for having the newest new moon. But the way he shows it is that it's like, instead of being a crescent, he's showing it as like someone's fading it in from the background, which is a problem because that's not the way it's supposed to be visible. It's supposed to see the crescent, and it should be a bright crescent because it's getting sunlight. We're not seeing that, and it shouldn't become apparent. We should see the crescent. So no, I agree. Your point that your question is why should it become so obviously one from the other is valid. We should be able to see it now.
So it was just the full moon not long ago. So where does it go after it becomes full moon?
That's the question, isn't it? That's the whole point.
Yeah, and that is the whole point. We're raising awareness to the fact that the moon seems to go missing, and on the model it never goes missing ever. Only at a solar eclipse where you're in the what's it called, the umbra. If you're sat in the umbra of it, then it might go completely missing because you may not see it. But for all other times, you should see that crescent, and it's not seen by anybody. Sorry.
Well, that's a bust. I thought someone was going to go, yeah, I've seen it. Little sliver. Dark circle.
No, nobody will see. Anybody got any evidence out there that there is a moon in the sky? Let's see it. Because we know that's not...
I've been out in the mornings, at nights, no moon anywhere. It's like it's hiding.
Yeah, you're only really going to see it during like dawn and dusk because you've got to get the moon close to the sun. And obviously that's going to be dawn and dusk. At high noon, you're not going to see it because of the glare, but because of the dawn and dusk, the light's a lot less, so you've got the most chance of seeing it. But again, no sign of it. Bit of a problem on the heliocentric model that requires some evidence to prove the claim.
Indeed.
They just like us to ignore it, though, don't they? Not pay attention.
Correct.
Let's face it, not many people look up into the sky and see, pay attention to what the moon's really doing over the cycle of the month. So when it goes, they don't really notice that it goes. No one's really looking for it. No one really cares.
I've said this a few times when people have been describing what the harvest moon looks like. And it's not necessarily the case that you get what is called the harvest moon, the bright colour and the massive size, when it's predicted to be the harvest moon. So I've seen it at random times, and I've literally gone, oh my god, pulled the car over, or pulled the van over, or pulled whatever I'm driving over, got out and stared at it, gobsmacked, because it's enormous and bright orange. And you'll be there, and people will walk past you and look at you like you're nuts. I mean, I'm sure I've described this on other shows when I've been doing it with Venus. So you watch Venus all night and you're there with your neck completely cricked, looking up, and people walk past you like you're bonkers. That's fair enough because you're not looking at something like the moon when it's ginormous in the sky. But, even if you point it out to them, which I have done, I've gone, look at that, isn't that cool? And they'll just go and shrug their shoulders. Literally, they pay absolutely no attention to the moon whatsoever, even when you literally point it out to them and it looks out of the ordinary. So yeah, people just aren't conscious of this stuff. Most people, I ask that question quite frequently, or I used to when I interviewed them, people, and on and off air, you'd say, well, someone would tell you something fantastic about the sky, and to me it'd be reasonably benign, or I'd seen it before, and you'd go, well, have you just started looking at the sky since you've discovered the Earth is flat? Oh yeah, I've just started looking. This shouldn't work on a globe. That shouldn't. And you're like, no. Step back a bit. Have a good look before you start making these claims, because a lot of stuff does work on the heliocentric model, and when you start to conceptualize it and you don't fully understand the model, then you'll think it's broken and not working, and you'll make these claims that aren't necessarily the case. I've done it myself. One of my first videos was about positioning of the moon based in the heliocentric model, and I got it wrong, and I got someone to model it out for me, and I was like, did I get this right? And they were like, no, it does work in the heliocentric model. And I was like, oh right, didn't seem to work conceptually, and I pointed out why, and they were like, yeah, that does seem to be the case when you think about it from the ground looking up at it, but no, it does work. And that has been most of the time with most, especially with the moon. This is one of the few exceptions, which is why it's worth focusing on. Where the hell is it? Literally, that's what we're asking. Where's it gone, exactly? This giant rock that's supposed to be between us and the sun, where is it?
Me personally, I think it goes behind. I don't think it goes in front of or anywhere near. I think it goes behind, and we're not seeing the light because it appears that the sun is a focal point of light rather than a burning ball of hydrogen, helium stuff.
Yeah, but so is the moon.
So is the moon what?
How would you suggest it goes behind anything? It just no longer appears.
Yeah, there's got to be a logical reason for why it's not there, though, right?
No, I think
the source of the light is being blocked out.
Anthony. So why would you assume it's behind or in front of these sort of physical descriptions of what it could be doing, when Arwin's description, what he just said, is so literally accurate, it just disappears, right?
Yeah.
Right. That's the most accurate description you've got of what actually happens based on what you can see and observe. So to make assumptions that it's going behind, in front, in a model, who cares? You've got no idea where it's going and what it's doing. I think that's the point, isn't it? It just doesn't conform to their model, which is devastating to them as they assert they do know where it is.
Yes.
The heliocentrists, that is.
The only conclusion that I can personally draw from it is that the source of the light, assuming there is one, and you would naturally do so because there is light, that the source is being cut off through that focal point of the moon for some reason in these 3 days. Maybe the energy level requires a certain critical mass, and the intensity of the source of the light goes down to a certain level that it no longer actually lights up. Maybe it's like that, like a TL lamp. I don't know.
That's a lovely story.
So he has gas tube lights, electrical lights.
I was with you when you said it just disappears.
Right.
I've heard stories that the moon's around when it shouldn't be around. I think it was observations of the Royal Institute back around the 1850s, something like that, where the moon was visible in the sky when the sun was actually being eclipsed. And there's been several sightings, from what I understand, through astrological history, where the moon's been up, but there's been an eclipse as well. I'll see if I can dig it out sometime today. It should be somewhere on my YouTube channel where I got it from. But yeah, the moon's been around when it shouldn't be around because it's supposed to be eclipsing the sun at some stages, but there it's been in the sky.
Yeah, I've heard of that as well. There's some images that show like the eclipse happening, and then you can see the moon. Apparently, you have to be at the right spot on the Earth to see it. But I don't know if it's real or not.
Well, it would be nice to have some actual confirmation of that from
Yeah, I'll see if I
there.
can.
So, anyone out there that is seeing the moon right now, anywhere, anyone in the world, please.
All right, so let's go back a couple months when I first made the observation when the moon was in line with the sun according to my Skyview app. So when I looked up in the Skyview app, both the sun and the moon were in tandem, okay? You could see the sun through the shadow of the moon on the app itself. So when I posted on Facebook asking everybody else to interact with me, someone posted that there was an eclipse on that day, or at least a partial eclipse, but it was up in the high regions of Russia and Iceland and some, you know, I started to think, are those places even inhabited? Can there be anybody who can validate this? So, you know, if that's the case, there could be some place on Earth where the moon is visible, technically.
You mean right now or during the eclipse?
Well, I guess it would be right now to a certain extent, because if when I was looking at the moon 3 or 4 months ago and it was in a direct line with the sun, you would say theoretically and conceptually there's no way anyone could see it because it's right in front of the sun. But if you Googled eclipse on that day, Google told you that in certain geographical locations you could see an eclipse of some sort. So then there would have been a phenomenon where the moon was visible by eclipse.
So it's not necessarily visible, but manifesting itself in a form of an eclipse. So you can see the little black shadow piece on the sun, right? It's just the manifestation of the eclipse, not necessarily the moon being seen, right?
Right, but what I'm saying right now, because the sun and the moon are not tandem, but they are at somewhat of an acute angle, then there could be some place on Earth where that is evidenced by a waxing crescent.
Anybody?
That makes sense?
Anybody? They got nothing for you, Travis.
That's okay.
Nothing in the chat neither.
I'd like to hear some background from folklore, what they have to say about the 3-day disappearance of the moon. And how concise do they see that in their folklore storytelling? Anyone know any references to the moon?
Right,
No.
so wouldn't we have to have a mathematical representation of, let's say, for instance, how much the moon diminishes or increases when it waxes or wanes? We could measure its movement within a 3-day period. So if we have 3 days where there is no crescent, does that match what the movement should be? So, for instance, the moon moves X. If the moon moves consistently X, then that should then be evidenced by it being visible by now. We should have been able to see it by now because of the degrees in which it moves. Am I being clear?
Yeah, I get it.
Otherwise, it's an anomaly. So for 28 days or for 25 days, the moon moves consistently, and we can measure the light increasing and diminishing by mathematical equation. We can represent the movement by numbers, so that when we have 3 days of no visibility, we should sit back and go, what the hell is going on? We should be seeing this.
Yeah. Well, during the day when you look at a crescent moon, what's not there is like invisible. Like you just cannot even see it, right?
Right, but I've got footage from at least 4 days ago when it was just ending, you know, and it was at sunrise, and you could see the entire surface
Was that a crescent moon or a full moon you're talking about?
No, it was a crescent. It was on its way out, but when you looked up, even with my naked eye, and I've got some photos of it, I just have to edit them and process them and get them up. But
yeah.
you could see the full circle.
Okay. I remember looking at the moon sometimes, and like it seriously just half of it is just like invisible. You can just see clouds and stuff behind it. You know what I mean? I'm not sure if you've ever seen that. But I wasn't looking. I was just looking with my eyes, so I wasn't like shining pointing a telescope up there. Right? I mean, if someone has a telescope, maybe they could try to see some sort of outline of it. But it's always the same. Like every time the moon comes back, it looks the same, doesn't it? Like the same, all the craters and whatever. It's all identical as the last moon, I think. So I don't know where it goes, and then it just sort of like comes back. Really interesting.
Hey, Truth Seeker.
Hey, afternoon.
Good to have you.
All right, guys, I'm going to drop.
All right, so can I do my presentation now since no one's saying anything?
Yeah, I would think that's a good opportunity. Go ahead.
Okay. It's about 10 minutes long. Can you share my screen?
Or scan.
If I know how to... What?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, hold on. Notes. Application window. All right, it's not letting me share my notes.
Really?
Let me see.
Oh,
So my entire screen, I guess, will that be okay?
Yeah, that's fine. Just let me know when you've got what you want on, and I'll put you on screen.
Okay. All right, can you read that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, then I'm ready.
Ready when you are.
Okay. First of all, I'd like to say thanks for this opportunity, for the time. It's going to take like 10 minutes. And if I don't have a good cell signal, I'll just redo the presentation and put it on my Earth Flattener channel. All right. Quantum eraser rebuttal on the flat Earth debate, occasionally in the style of quantum eraser. It seemed kind of pointless to come up with a rebuttal because I realized that the main point I was trying to make on the flat Earth debate 578 is already shared by almost everyone on the panel. And the main issue is this: quantum eraser is a snake oil salesman that is trying to rule the flat Earth debate using tyrannical and full metal jacket style terrorism to peddle creation. FED 578 was obviously the first time I had debated anyone about thermodynamics. I actually didn't know anything about the subject until I was introduced to it on the flat Earth debate, obviously. As you heard on FED 578, it was hard for me, nearly impossible. I had to use words that I'm not used to using and had to weave them into a subject I'm not familiar with. Even still, FED 578 exposed what a dry old sponge quantum eraser is to new ideas. And that's because he's not one of us, as in, not in search for truth. He plays people like he's found a truth, but like the rest of us, he knows nothing. He is incapable of thinking outside of his entropic bedroom. He is just stuck with his ideas that were regurgitated to him by an authority at some point in his life, and is incapable of any new input as it exposes the holes in his narrative built around propagating his creationist agenda. In my opinion, the end of the debate on 578 was when Nathan, for the second time on the show, clearly paraphrased my position to quantum eraser. It was incredible to hear him take my fifth grader incoherence and make it sound like such a concise yet beautiful narration straight out of a documentary like only Nathan can. He said, "In one of the definitions, John, that you read out, it explains that if you close up a room and leave it to its own devices, it will still suffer the effects of entropy. So when Earth Flattener talks about a bedroom, I think that's what he's referring to. The room that would be sealed up, left to its own devices, and still suffer the effects of entropy. However, the sun doesn't follow that pattern according to Earth Flattener. Therefore, he's saying that the second law is not necessarily the case, because what they call the universe, or I'm going to call the sky and everything in it, not man-made stuff, but the moon and the sun, aren't appearing to follow the second law of thermodynamics." Quantum Eraser's response to Nathan was, "Well beyond retarded, full-on hospice slobber nurse territory." He said, that's really incoherent. You're saying that because the sun rises from today, let's say the sun rises tomorrow, that is a second law of thermodynamics violation?" To this, I will say to Quantum Eraser, "You, sir, are an imbecile pretender clown doofus of mammoth proportions. What on earth?" Truth Seeker chimed in by saying, "It's more than that. I think things growing, things coming back. It was a whole bunch of stuff." Even my usually quiet buddy, Physics Warrior, cut in and simply added, "That's very interesting, Earth." This is when I realized that I wasn't alone, that most of the people that were important to me understood my point, and that nothing more needed to be said. FED 582 through 583. I get ripped a new asshole? On FED 583, Nathan claimed that John tore me a new asshole. But the problem is, Quantum Eraser didn't really say anything relevant during his presentation on FED 582. He mostly cherry-picked things I said, took things out of context, and offered up nonsense like, "I mean, this mind-numbing train wreck of a debacle that makes a $6 million crash and burn look like a fender bender is supposed to somehow disprove creation?" Or this one. "So, proteins, carbohydrates, fats, vitamins, and minerals, that is nutrients, i.e. nutrition, are writing on photons like Kelly Slater writing at the Billabong Tahiti Pro that all of a sudden smack into us and are absorbed. Do you reminisce with strangers?" Okay, one more.
Okay, that's really creepy how much that sounds alike.
"This retarded fuckwittery is so far beyond non sequitur. Language is incapable of encapsulating or describing its full Mr. Magoo shroom-induced coma incoherence." I really don't understand how anybody tolerates Quantum Eraser. Like, not even for a minute. As someone in the chat once stated, Quantum Eraser talking equals bathroom break. And I mean seriously, these old used up ejaculations are not only not doing any ripping of any new or old assholes, they have so little impact that Quantum Eraser should be renamed Condom Replacer, because he literally offers no penetration whatsoever. You got that, Condom Replacer? You literally offer no penetration. So, dear Condom Replacer, when you make comments like, "The sun shines on my driveway, therefore, according to you, my driveway is alive," The only thing I hear you saying is that you are beyond repair. You are set in your beliefs, and there is nothing I'm going to be able to explain to you. Okay, listen up, Grape Ape. Even though I realize you are set on your agenda, I can tell it's been a long time coming since somebody let you in on this little secret. You seem to be suffering from your own brand of George Nadiak syndrome, where you haven't caught up with the fact that you are no longer living in the 20th century. It's time to let go of your Ace Ventura pet detective style side commentary and realize that you, sir, are no longer relevant. Are we tracking, Sally? I will agree, though, that my question to Anthony Riley regarding creation versus the ISS was totally non sequitur. But he took the bait anyway by stating that he believes in creation through logical deduction, which, as we've learned from Arwinian gravity, this is an absolute no-no on the flat Earth debate.
Depending on the political nature.
And he couldn't just let it go. Riley still had to wiggle himself out of my line of questioning with a condom replacer approved. There are only two ontological primitives, only two, auto reply. It is really such a shame how condom replacers' rhetoric has contaminated the flat Earth debate. And what's with the appeals to authority? Citing quotes from people like Lincoln Barnett, the universe, and Dr. Einstein, who claims that the fundamental processes of nature are irreversible, claiming that nature moves only one way. Duh! So does this mean that it must be true because Dr. Einstein says so, or is it because condom replacer added an obnoxious duh right at the end? How about this one? Professor Davies from King's College London, who states, the greatest puzzle is where all the order in the universe came from originally. How did the cosmos get wound up if the second law of thermodynamics predicts asymmetric unwinding towards disorder? These ridiculous appeals to our authority using words like universe and cosmos to validate thermodynamics lead me to believe that condom eraser is nothing more than a crayon slugging hand puppet. And somebody's creationist fist has been shoved so far up his puppet ass that I'm sure he can taste all 66 books in the Freemasonic Bible coming out the other end. It seems like he enjoys it, though, the way he starts to giggle like a little schoolgirl when anybody disagrees with him with anything he says. Really weird. The sum of FED 582 was when Nathan stated to condom replacer, I want to assert that I would agree with you that we were created, but on a recent discussion about this, you said, well, then you must have a creator. I don't get the connection. If we are created, why would that mean that there has to be an anthropomorphization of a creator? Condom's reply was as uninformative as usual, and at the end of his word vomit, he stated, does that do it? Before I continue on to Nathan's reply, I'd like to share something I noticed during this exchange, and that is that you, Condom, are a gross creep. Your words came across like you were trying to cast a magic spell on Nathan. I could almost hear your serpent tongue slithering in your mouth in delicious anticipation of Nathan's reply. If anything you've ever said might make me consider a creator, it would be this exchange you had with Nathan, because you sounded like a vile, deceitful demon trying to hypnotize him into agreeing with you. But it didn't work. Nathan's reply to, does that do it, was simply, not really. Moving on. I would appreciate if the Flat Earth Debate panel could start breaking down everything we understand is true about the laws of nature whenever they are brought up, even if they are laws. The reason I had these thoughts in part is because of the panelists on the Flat Earth Debate. You guys fill my mind with your thoughts and ideas every day, and that includes condom replacer. Had he not presented the laws of thermodynamics the way he did, I really don't think I would have had any interest in them. But I've always thought that the sun not only gives life to nature, it takes man-made objects like condoms, ejaculation-stained bedroom, and tractor tire, breaks them down and returns them to their original state, which is the earth beneath our feet, ready to provide an environment for life to start over again. This seems to be a direct contradiction to the second law of thermodynamics, and I hope that as a team of skeptics, we can start asking why we have to accept that the earth is in a losing battle against entropy, even though it doesn't seem as if this is the case. Ride with me, Nathan. I'm almost finished. I'd like to share a few statements about the second law. Number 1. Second law is an isolated system. Natural processes are spontaneous when they lead to an increase in order or entropy. Number 2. The entropy of an isolated system never decreases. In equilibrium, the entropy stays the same. Otherwise, the entropy increases until equilibrium is reached. Finally, I'd like to read something I found that interests me slightly because it makes a claim supporting evolution, but also interests me immensely because it crushes the idea that entropy is on the side of creation. Joseph Fellenstein, University of Washington in Seattle states, "Now the statement that evolution can't have occurred because it contradicts the second law is one of the hoariest old creationist myths. Duh. When you hear it, you know you are dealing either with someone who does not understand science, or else someone who does understand science but is actively and dishonestly trying to get you not to understand science. It is easily answered and has been many times. In a closed system, entropy does increase, but the biosphere is not a closed system. It is utterly dependent on inflows of energy, mostly from the sun, and the entropy increase from the outflow of energy from the sun far exceeds the decrease of entropy by reproduction and by evolution." Are we tracking, Sally's?
That is still a closed system.
Thank you.
If you were to say that that's not an isolated
Yeah, it's all right.
system.
Yeah, that's fine. You can continue, but that was it. Thank you.
But I've got to disagree straight away. Just the end bit. So you're saying that's not closed? Well, it is closed. So an isolated system has no interaction, but a closed system, you can still have transfers.
Okay.
Anyway.
All right. Well, hey, I applaud that because it shows that condom replacer is forcing a false dichotomy and having us completely miss the third and fourth and other options. He's closed-minded.
Well, you all know my position on it.
But he does. He presents the arguments as if there's only two options, and there's many more than two options, and it's dishonest to present this as if there's only two options. It's not binary.
Can you hear us, Mike? Mike, hello.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you. Good to have you.
First time in.
Thanks for joining.
Welcome.
Yeah, I have no idea what Earth Flattener's what was his name?
Let's just all digest what Earth Flattener said. You know,
creation is, but I do agree on a lot.
Arwin, 1 second. Let's all digest. You know, take your time to digest what Earth Flattener presentation, and I think we should hear the new guest. Just let him speak up and see where he stands. I think it's a good idea to hear new blood coming in.
Thanks, Jose.
Yeah, welcome, you guest. Hello.
Oh yeah, hi.
Yeah,
it's
welcome.
me. It's me. Yes, hello guys.
Hello. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. There's a bit of a time delay, I guess. I'm not used to this Hangout stuff.
It takes a little bit of getting used to.
Can we discuss the presentation, or is this like damage control to hide?
No, go ahead. I'm quite happy listening. I'm quite happy listening.
Okay, well then here, Earth Flattener. Let me get my 2 cents out because I'll be busy and I probably got to go soon anyway. I thought that presentation was great. You put it very simply and eloquently. That was a very good presentation. John's forcing a false dichotomy onto flat Earth. I've noticed about half the people around flat Earth are Bible thumpers, trying to push us into the globe model matches the Bible model. They're both control systems of the mind. So you got to be wary of people pushing Bibles and flat Earth. There's no relation.
Thanks, buddy. I wouldn't know half the stuff I know if it wasn't for you guys, and still it's hard to consume it all because you guys are really smart people, and it's great to hear you every single day.
It's really, really nice to hear your words today as well. I found it was really cool. Thank you for taking.
Yeah,
that was one of the best took a lot of effort and passion put into that, mate. So, yeah.
It was very eloquent.
I'm very sure that John will appreciate the fact that you've gone to that sort of effort, especially the humour you injected with the parody of him. So I know he likes that sort of thing. I'm sure you'll get a response.
Yeah, it's awesome.
That was uncanny.
Oh, if anybody, it's
it's
really easy to do. All you have to do is channel Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, you know, and then you got it. So what you wouldn't read about is how Ray Finkel lost his mind. You know, just do that and you got him.
You should go on tour with just that. That's awesome.
You made him sound like a crayon muncher.
I assume you're expecting a response, though, right?
Yep, and it'll be filled with a whole bunch of name calling and
course.
shouting, and his.
I'm
was
gonna
filled with
count the
facts.
pretender clowns. And the
I just
crayon
hope it's
muncher.
something new and fresh. I hope it's just not the same old thing because I had to start from scratch, kind of. You know, I've never done this before.
It'd be interesting if you two could have a meeting of minds somewhere along the line instead of just going back and forth. If this is what this could turn into, a presentation against a presentation, against a presentation. If you could actually have a meeting of minds, maybe on the panel, that would be good. I think that's probably the.
No, I don't have that kind of mind. I don't have like he is. I don't have to think everything out, and I'm just a different type of person.
Oh, of course, of course. I don't mean a meeting of minds as you have to accept what he says or he has to accept what you say, but common ground to work from is probably a better way to work. That in.
Sure. Thank you.
Quantum, at least on a positive side, set somewhat of a benchmark. What we are actually engaged with these ballers. When he first came onto the show. I don't know if you guys heard me.
Can I give you my take on all of this presentation and the little personal feud on you guys? This is it. If I am here, let's say I don't agree with Arwin, with what Arwin said. When Arwin is doing presentation, arguing with somebody, debating somebody, I will not interject. I will not have an opinion of it. I will not argue at all, not interact with him. Why? Because his way to defend things or argue things is his way. It's not my way. If I interject, then it's going to be personal between him and me, and the point being discussed versus the other person is going to be lost. It will be a point that I will argue, not against the person, not against Arwin in the example. I will not argue with Arwin. Arwin has his point and he debated the guy. Then I will take on the guy and give him my point. Now the guy might say, oh, but this other guy, Arwin, say this to me and now you're telling this to me. That will be my take. If I don't agree with somebody, I just don't interact with them. That's sorry about that, but that's pretty much my point. I don't have a side to choose. I agree with everybody, and that's pretty much it.
So if you want John's take on it, there is actually a link to The Creator versus Atheism in the info box below the video. You can check it out. John does a presentation not dissimilar, shall we say, to Earth Flatteners.
So can we interject with our new guest now? See what his position is if we've done with flatteners.
Yeah,
he's been sitting there very quietly. It'd be nice to hear what he says.
Yeah,
what side of the fence he's on if he's got an opinion.
Exactly. What side of the fence do you sit, Mike?
Hi guys. Hi guys.
Hi.
Yeah, well, I'm a baller. I've been listening to this show for a few months, on and off. It's very entertaining. Can you hear this? No one's saying anything.
Yeah, we just listening
to you. Yep, good.
I hear you, buddy.
What else can I say?
What's the number one sign of the round Earth for you? Like, what do you think about that gives you that image in your head that, oh yeah, it's round? Like, the problem that a lot of us have is that the more we think about it, the less and less evidence there is for it being a ball.
Okay, so when was the first time you started thinking about it? Was it in response to a YouTube video?
I mean, I asked you, like, what was your...
Okay, well, I haven't seen the curve, because I haven't seen the Earth curve as such.
Why not? Why? You should see it. You live on a ball.
I should see it. Question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What, from sea level?
Well, okay, but...
So you said you did see it, or
no? I said no. I questioned. It was a question mark. He said I should see it. I said I asked him if I should see it.
So for you, what's the main like? What do you think about, or what gives you the clarity that it is a ball?
Okay, well,
pictures from NASA and shit like that, or
well, as it's been explained quite a few times, everyone's brought up to understand it's a sphere, and then something happens and you start thinking about it. But none of the things that I've seen on YouTube have made me think their claims that it's not a sphere is credible. If the Earth's flat, my question is, where does the sun go? But obviously, your question would be, is the sun an actual object?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I think, but like with everything, you can look at it from a different perspective. Like you can look at it assuming you're on a ball. And
no, I didn't. No, I said. Yeah. So yeah. So you assume you're.
Like, where does it start for you? Like where's the core of it for you?
Well, to be honest, I never really thought about. I never thought the world was flat till a few months ago when I started looking at some YouTube videos, and then, like I said, I didn't buy the information I was getting, whereas you guys obviously have. So why do I still think it's a sphere?
Just because you've always thought it's a sphere, right?
Well, no, because you don't even think about it, do you?
Yeah, you do need to think about it.
No, but before you didn't. I mean, as you said yourself, Sleepy Warrior, in the past, you just didn't think about it.
Yeah, but your question just then was, why is it that you still think it's a sphere after looking into it? And the answer is because you haven't realised that there's no evidence for the sphere yet you still believe it.
No, I looked at the same videos that you probably have, and I don't buy what they're claiming.
So that's fair enough. Sorry.
What are the remaining leads for you to believe that the?
Sorry, can we ask one person at a time?
Yes, one at a time.
Yeah, we'll see. I'll just say, for me, the first thing that triggered me was I just thought of like a gyroscope. If I took a gyroscope and put it in a box and shipped it to Australia and opened it up, like should be upside down, but it won't be. It'll be level. So
okay, well, I haven't got much experience with gyroscopes, to be honest, so I can't really explain that.
Fair enough.
Not sure.
Can I ask you a quick question then, Mike? So sorry to interrupt. So you said there's nothing that seems to contradict the idea of being on a sphere. I think that was paraphrasing.
I said I've watched the same videos of you, and I haven't bought what they've been selling me. That's basically my.
Sure, but I understand that you're saying you don't sort of buy the claims that are being made, which is fair enough. They're claims from a third party, so that's fine. But on this show we have housekeeping, which you've obviously seen time and time again. Well, obviously, if you're to assert there's no issues with believing you're on a sphere, that must therefore infer that you have answers to all of those questions. Then, yes.
Okay, so where should we start?
Let's start with number one.
Signs of curvature?
Yeah, I said at the start, I haven't seen curve. I did say that. If you look back at the recording, I did say I haven't seen the curve.
My question to you about that curve is, when do you expect to see that curvature? You live on a ball. You live on a ball. It's got set dimensions. Spherical geometry will dictate to you when you should start seeing that ball. When do you think you should start seeing that curve?
Yeah, you asked me that a few minutes ago, and other people interrupted us. So my question to you is, I asked you, should we see it at sea level? Should I be able to see it? Okay, should I be able to see the curve at sea level?
Yes.
Okay, so you can see what, 3 miles? Is that
right? Let me do a little. I did this the other day with another gentleman. Let me do a little thought exercise with me and you are both 6 foot tall. You've got a pair of binoculars.
So how tall? How tall are we?
6 foot tall. So your observation height is 6 foot off of sea level. We're at the beach.
Yep.
I'm like Jesus, and I walk off towards the horizon.
Yep.
Now, your spherical geometry will dictate 6 foot man like me will disappear under the curve of the Earth after 3 miles.
Okay.
With a binocular.
So I'm losing you. Say that again.
I think he was just saying that we should disappear, or a person should disappear about 3 miles away.
Has he gone?
Actually, starting to disappear.
Has he gone?
He got connection issues.
Hello, can you hear me?
I think the point is we should see the curve. Yes.
Okay, I'd rather wait for him to come back, otherwise
Yeah, well, hang on. Whilst you're waiting for him to come back, think about the answer to his question.
Yeah, I didn't get. Yeah, so 3 miles, you don't see 6 foot. Is that what you're saying?
No, his question is, where? At what point do you think you should start to see the curve?
No, well, he was just explaining something, so I'd rather stay there instead of going about.
Hello, can you hear me? I'm back again.
Yeah, okay, good. Go ahead. Good.
About that, guys. I phased out. So yeah, your spherical geometry will dictate to you that after 3 miles, my 6 foot frame will disappear under the curve of the Earth.
Okay.
6 foot from an observation height. That is clearly demonstrated to you.
Okay,
You can go and look in the question Earth curve calculator.
Can
Your
I-
method is set out.
Can I answer it?
Yes.
Okay, so 3 miles and 6 foot is disappearing. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay, so putting in the same units, 3 miles is what, 4.8 kilometers?
Yep.
And 6 foot is 180 centimeters.
Yeah.
Which is 1.8 kilometers. So 1.8 meters, 1.8 meters.
The point I'm raising is you live on a sphere. Yes.
No, the point you said is that over 4,800 meters, you can't see someone who's 1.8 meters tall.
My question to you is, if the spherical geometry that is set out for you, we all get taught it, where this happens, when do you personally expect to see the curvature of the Earth? How high do you have to be? If you hadn't...
You just gave me an example of you going out into the sea for 3 miles, and I'm telling you that that's 4,800 meters versus 1.8 meters, which is 2,600 times more. So that's like imagining a 260 centimeter plank of wood, and it's a curve which is 1 millimeter.
It's going. I mean, I'm obviously going to disappear from after perspective as well.
Okay, no worries, no worries. I appreciate what you're saying, Mike. However, we have imagery like the imagery that is on screen now, where we are looking out across the ocean.
So have you finished with the 6 foot guy going into the sea?
Oh, my bad. I didn't realise my talking was interrupting you.
My point is just clearly this. The math of the sphere will tell you when you should start seeing the curve. So you personally, when do you think, after gaining altitude, you should start seeing this curvature? Just giving you a small demonstration of what the maths will tell you.
Yes, but your demonstration...
on a ball, so that curve will extrapolate down, the curve will increase. So things that are on screen all of the time, like distant objects 10, 20, 30, 40 miles away, are a clear demonstration that that spherical model does not work. That is an issue that you need to look into. The observation, what you see. We see too far is a clear contradiction between the Earth model spherical geometry and what we can actually observe.
Amen.
Okay, well, I think I dealt with your example of a 6 foot guy going 3 miles out to sea.
Okay, so let's look at some of those objects that are possibly going on the screen, like have been demonstrated in maybe some of the shows that you've seen before.
Yeah, so let me just explain what's on screen while it's on screen, sorry. So, in this image, this is taken from ground level. It's gone now, but what was on screen moments ago was the Isle of Man. And you should see from ground level, in that panorama, curvature. You don't. There is no curve.
Okay, so I mean, I'm not an expert on looking at the Isle of Man. I haven't seen that. I think I probably have seen that. Is it St. Bees or something? Is that the one?
Sorry.
That's correct.
I'll just say it again. So, from left to right, in that image, from ground level, you should see curvature.
From left to right.
Do not.
So what's the distance left to right then?
Who cares? You don't see any curvature.
I can't see any curvature there. You mean?
Sorry, what do you want the distance for? Who cares?
No,
there is no
I said
curve
I can't see
there.
any curvature. I can't see any curvature in that.
Yeah, that's because there isn't any. So the question originally was, when do you expect to see this curve? When do you, the globe person that thinks you live on a globe, when do you expect to see this curve? That's the original question. Because you've said, I don't see it. Well, when should you see it?
I guess I'd ask in which direction? The x-axis or the z-axis?
Well, you live on a ball.
Any direction.
And
any direction. When do we see the curve?
Should be very obvious, this curve. X, Y axis, whichever way you want to look at it.
Yeah, but
should
you
be
said,
very obvious.
if you're looking over 3 miles, it's not obvious. We discussed that.
Sorry, I'm not asking. Let me just hold on. Hold on, Event Horizon. Hold on, Event Horizon. Hold on. You're saying I won't see it over 3 miles. Listen carefully.
His point was,
don't talk. When will we see it?
Oh, I personally don't know the exact distances when you see it.
So when will we see curve?
I said I don't know.
Oh, that's unfortunate. So when you said that you don't see any issues with believing you're on a globe, and I said, well, we've got all these questions at the beginning of the show. That's question 1.
Yeah, the curve, yes.
Yeah, you don't see it. You don't know when we're going to see it. It hasn't been seen by you. So that's so hold on, Mike, just bear with me. So that's not a problem for you, correct?
That's not a problem for me.
Right, let me just tell you something, Mike. You have a religious belief in curvature.
Do you agree with that, Mike?
No.
Sorry, should we start again then? Start again then, Mike. Sorry. Mike, when do we see this curvature you have a religious belief in? Is it never?
I said I haven't seen the curvature.
Right, so you haven't seen it, but you believe it's there, correct? Don't anybody talk but Mike. Let's see if he can accept his religious belief.
I said at the start that I haven't seen any videos which make me think that we live on a flat plane.
I'm not asking about that. I'm asking about your religious belief in curvature that you do not see, have not experienced, and cannot tell us when we can experience it.
No, I can't tell you when we can experience this because I'm not an expert in
no,
these
that's because it's a religious belief, Mike.
Well, my definition of religious belief is different to yours, I guess.
What would be your definition of a belief, religious or otherwise?
Or otherwise?
Sorry.
Religious.
Can you prove this belief?
Not me personally, no.
So it's just a belief then?
Boom. Belief. It could be belief.
It is a belief. You can't prove it, Mike. Hello?
There's a lot of things I can't prove.
Yeah, and there's a lot of things that people would come on in front of 200 people and assert as true, despite they can't prove it. That would be you and your religious assertion that we have curve that you can't experience, can't show us it, and have never experienced in your entire life. But you still believe it, and you doggedly assert it's true, despite the fact that we've got you to concede it's just a belief. And you don't think this is your religion? My God, man, are you stupid? This is your religion, Mike. That's why you assert it without evidence.
Do you understand where we're coming from, Mike? That, I mean, we don't want to believe. We just don't want to live in that belief system, that believing just in a spinning ball when we never experienced it, never witnessed it anyhow. Any movement, any curvature, anywhere. Never, ever in our lives. And you want us, I mean, people want us to go back to the globe when there's nothing there, when there's no globe. And
well, we started off with 3 miles and 6 foot, and now you're saying that you don't experience the, you can't feel the rotation.
Sorry, again, Mike, why are you doing this? So we already explained, we don't want you to tell us what we won't see, we want you to tell us when we will see it, and you can't do that, but yet you're pointing out that the reasons why, you're making excuses for your religious belief now. pretty sad.
The first thing I was asked for by Event Horizon was walking 3 miles out to sea.
No, the first thing you were asked was when you would see this curve. And the first thing you were asked before that was, what is it that actually makes you believe in curve and being on a ball? And you said, well, I've got no reason to believe otherwise. Here we are on step 1 of these very difficult questions that we ask at the beginning of each show. First question, and we've got to you doggedly asserting a religious belief over and over again and telling us reasons and excuses why you wouldn't see it. Like, if you're only 6 foot looking out at a distance. No, that was quite far along the questioning that we asked you. Why do you believe? What's the single thing that makes you believe you're on a sphere? That was the first thing. What's your proof? What makes you believe that? And we went to why you can't see curve as your reason for believing in this religion? No, that's not really very good. Maybe we shouldn't labour the point about curve and move on to the next question and see if it's equally religious bound. So, Mike, have you considered the second question we often ask about axial rotation? Will this be another religious-based belief, or will you have some evidence to prove axial rotation? Let's see.
Can we go to another question? Maybe gravity?
Yeah, let's go for another question. Do you, rather than curve, which you can't prove and have a religious belief about, can you prove axial rotation of the Earth-based variety?
No, I asked if you could go to gravity.
Why?
Why not?
Well, because I asked them in a particular order and you said you had no issues whatsoever, so I would assume that you could answer all of them. You didn't give me a reply. We've asked one of them and got your religious belief about it. So I want to ask about axial rotation. Is that a problem for your religious belief, Mike? Because gravity's just another religious belief, you realise. There's no scientific evidence for gravity whatsoever.
Yeah, sure. Let's go with that. Go for gravity then.
No, we'll go for axial rotation. Your spinning ball religion in space, a vacuum, where's the evidence for the spinning? Is this another problem for your religious belief, Mike? I thought there was no problems. I thought there was no reason to disbelieve this religion. What's the problem, Mike?
I was asking if it was a sphere. No one asked me if it was spinning.
So, Mike, what's your evidence for axial rotation then?
You believe in the stationary ball?
No, I haven't. I said I haven't thought about it.
Oh,
Yeah,
so you watched the show dozens of times.
That's a good argument.
You haven't thought about it.
You asked me at the start of this whole conversation.
Why haven't you thought about it? You said you'd watched the show, and you came on and asserted that you've not come across anything to challenge your belief in this, and you haven't thought about it. So you're just in blissful ignorance then of these questions, even though you've watched them over and over again. You're just blissfully ignorant of them.
I was specifically asked about the sphere. If you look back, I was asked, why do you think we live in a sphere?
Can you answer that question?
Why? Well, I did answer it earlier. Yes. Well, I said I hadn't seen. We're going around repeating what we
haven't seen anything to prove it.
Yeah, we're not saying any reason to disbelieve it. That's not the question. Why do you believe it? Not what reasons have you found to not disbelieve it, which is the answer you're giving. So why do you believe it?
Well, as I said, I'm going to say the same thing. I'm just going to repeat myself. So, if you want me to keep repeating myself, I will.
Well, what is the reason you believe you're on a ball?
And I said, I'll repeat myself again if you want me to. I've watched these videos on YouTube and nothing's convinced me. And you said at the time, that's fair enough.
Right. Yeah, about their assertions. But then I went on to the problems with your religion. The first being the curvature we don't see. The second being the axial rotation we don't experience. But you don't seem to want to go on to that. You want to go on to a very major part of your religious belief, which would be gravity, rather than giving me an answer to your spinning ball religion and the spinning part. If this isn't a problem, then just explain what evidence you have that backs up your belief in Earth rotation.
And as I said, repeat myself again, I haven't really thought about evidence for the rotating Earth. I've not thought about it, to be honest.
Why are you thinking about it right now?
Yeah, why don't you think you're feeling the Earth spinning?
So
it's spinning very fast.
So the Earth spins, according to the spinning ball religion, one revolution in 1 day.
Yes.
So that's 15 degrees an hour.
1,000 plus miles an hour around the equator.
But that is 15 degrees in 1 hour.
Sure, but it's also 1,000 miles an hour at the equator.
Yeah, so that's 4 degrees in a minute. So if you were to stand up and move 4 degrees in 1 minute, it's quite slow.
What are you talking about? You
are.
understand how tangential
Yes,
speed works?
okay, that's nice. And?
Well, that's... Would you feel that?
Yes.
4 degrees in 1 minute.
Sorry, you don't need to repeat your question. Repeat my answer. Yes, you would feel it. Do you want to repeat that, or do you want to ask me again? The 4 degrees an hour
Why
thing.
does he think it wouldn't?
Hold on. Yes, you would feel it.
How could you not feel yourself moving?
Sorry. Yes, you would feel it. Are you disagreeing that you wouldn't feel it?
Yes.
Oh, you would. If you're on a merry-go-round, you would feel it.
Moving at 4 degrees in 1 hour, in 1 minute.
Yes. Yeah. We had somebody do the maths and show us.
1 degree in 4 minutes.
Yeah, in force, what you would have, yes. It was measured out and showed and determined, and yes, there'd be a force. Yes, that's correct. Yes. How many times? We don't feel any force. We don't feel a damn thing. But you're to assert that we have a force because we're spinning. Now, we don't feel that force. For you to say it's only a minimal force, you shouldn't feel it. No. We've been through the mathematics. There would be a force asserted on you all the time that you would feel if you were spinning. We don't feel any force.
Mr. Mike, I'm sorry to interrupt. So you go in a plane that can go 1,000 miles per hour with unlimited gas. You hop in a plane and you have to haul ass from point A. I'm in Texas. I take off from Texas 1,000 miles per hour going around your imaginary ball, and I go back. So I go around in 1 day. I have to go 1,000 miles per hour in that plane to reach my destination in point A again. Will you feel that?
Jose, a plane isn't the planet, though. The planet is a lot bigger than the plane. It's like
okay, but it's 1,000 miles per hour.
Can I finish? It's like asking if you walk 3 miles in 1 hour, and an ant does the same 3 miles in 1 hour, who's going faster?
Why do you think the Earth isn't spinning underneath the plane?
Sorry, it seems like you've completely ignored what I've said. So I can't remember which episode. We had Adam Meakin on, and he went through the mathematics and worked it out. Now, while I was shocked that it was considerably less than I was expecting, there was definitely a force that should be felt if we're spinning, and we do not. You've moved past that and said how we shouldn't feel it. Well, we should.
Jose asked me a question. I was replying to Jose's question.
Well, you haven't responded to me. There was a stony silence, and then that was replaced with a question rather than you saying, that's interesting that you have calculated that there should be, albeit small, a force felt.
So what is the force? What is the size of this force?
Like I say, a minimal force.
Religion, man.
I haven't got the mathematics to hand. My apologies for my ignorance in the mathematics.
It's about 1.7 newtons or something.
There you go. Random number that means nothing. A force that we don't feel. So, what's the answer to that then?
I don't know how it would feel 1.7 newtons. I can't really imagine it.
It's a force. Hold on, you don't need to imagine it. You don't feel a damn thing, and that is a force that should be felt. Yes, you said it's very minimal. Yeah, we agree. Small force that we don't feel.
Should be detectable.
So is there any evidence of axial rotation as opposed to forces we don't feel? Because that's not an evidence for something. That's evidence of us not feeling anything. So let's move past what we don't feel and whether or not you agree that we should or shouldn't feel it, and go to the evidence. Again, you seem to be giving us reasons and excuses for why things aren't happening. I'm trying to get out of you proof that we do rotate on an axis, and you're telling me why we shouldn't feel that. I don't want proof of what I don't feel. I want evidence that we do actually rotate about our axis. Do you understand the difference?
And I'll repeat myself. At the start of this conversation, I said I had not thought about evidence for the Earth rotating.
Okay, well, let me fill you in. If we were rotating, we would expect to feel, albeit minimal, a force, which we don't feel. So I'm going to assert that that shows we're not moving, that we're not budging an inch, because we'd feel it, and we don't. So given that you've not thought about this, and this is number 2 in the housekeeping, that you've watched numerous times according to you, I'd say that's number 2, religious belief in something you've got no evidence for and haven't even given any consideration, even though it gets highlighted on every single show. So 2 things you believe in without evidence or consideration of. You just believe them, right? So let's just round this point out. You do believe we spin though, right?
Can I ask a question?
No, I'd like an answer. You do believe we spin, right?
I would like to know more about this 1.7 newtons.
I'd like to know if you believe that we spin.
Yes.
Why?
But as I said before, I don't have any evidence for that.
So it's
Because
just
it
another.
has to be,
It's just another religious belief, then, like your religious belief in Earth curve.
But if you're saying we feel 1.7 newtons, I don't know if we would feel that or not. I mean, it's possible.
Yeah, we
that
could
there's a
measure
force
it.
acting
It's
on
a
us, very
force.
small force.
Yeah, it's a
Come on,
force.
dude.
Yeah, it's a
Phil,
force.
mention
We've got very
rotating
precise
stars or
equipment.
anything?
Hello? If there was a force, we'd feel it. And we could measure it. And we don't. Otherwise, you'd bring up a citation very quickly to shut me up. So, no, we don't feel any force. Again, I don't want you to tell me about things we don't feel if you're to assert that we spin. I want you to concede that you just believe this crap because you just believe this crap. That's what I want you to say, and we'll move on. And I'll ask you about evidence of a gas pressure without a container. So, you just believe we spin because you just believe it, right? Nothing to prove it.
I said at the start, I'll repeat myself if you want me to.
Yes, please.
I've not thought about evidence for the spinning of the Earth.
There isn't any. We've just discussed it. Shout out to Michael Black for the Michael Buck for the super chat. Much obliged. So, any evidence that we can have gas pressure that we all know and love and breathe without a container?
Well, this is to do with gravity, right?
You tell me. There's no scientific evidence of gravity. So, if you're going to assert gravity, I'm going to say, what's your scientific evidence for it? But that's not the question. How do we have gas pressure without a container?
Because there's a downward force towards the surface of the Earth.
Didn't you just listen? There's no scientific evidence to back your religious belief in gravity. None. No scientific evidence, just a religious belief.
Okay, so can I take
in
that
theory,
on?
it doesn't work either.
Can I take it on?
In theory, it doesn't work either.
Just give us a
assume
brief.
that
What are you
gravity is a
going
force,
to
then
present
it's
as
not strong
scientific
enough to do
evidence?
anything.
What's your scientific evidence for gravity?
Okay, so if you're in a car...
Sorry, listen, what's your scientific evidence for gravity doesn't mean I have to conceptualize being in a car. Just give me your observed phenomena and your hypothesis. If you claim to have science for gravity, then you're first stupid and don't watch the show, because there isn't any. But if you want to assert it, you better damn well start with an observed phenomena, not a concept of me being in a car. Okay? So what's the observed phenomena in the scientific evidence?
I didn't claim scientific evidence. I said
Well,
I can see
listen to the
effect
question then, Dumbo. What's your scientific evidence for gravity? Doesn't mean I'm asking for a concept. It means I'm asking you to damn well prove it in the physical and natural world using science. Okay? So, are you going to assert this religious belief as your response to my question? What proves that we can have gas pressure without a container? You're going to assert a religious belief? No, sir. No. You provide scientific evidence for it. That's what you do if you're to assert it. Don't just use it as a catch-all phrase to get out of a tricky situation when I ask for why entropy is not affecting the gas pressure we all breathe. That's just another religious belief. So we've got a religious belief in spin, a religious belief in curve, and a religious belief in gravity so far. That's all you've got. Religious beliefs. No problems, you say? I'd say it's littered with problems. You just haven't thought about them. Go away and think about these problems we ask daily.
Okay.
Yeah. Why are you here? What have you got to offer? Were you going to tell us that Cavendish proved it?
No. Okay, I'm off. You asked me to leave, I'll leave. Fine.
Pretender clown muppet. You don't deserve to be here. You've got nothing but religious belief, Mike. So let me look into the camera and tell it you straight. You don't deserve to be here. If you want to come and assert your religious faith in this bullshit, then go somewhere else. Go to a maths forum, go to a sewing forum, go somewhere else. Don't come here and say you haven't thought about these questions and assert that there's no problem with your spinning ball space monkey religion. There is. You've got no evidence for it. And with that, I'm going to say first and foremost a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of the live audience for tuning in and hopefully sharing this debate. And of course, a massive thank you to all of the debating panel for making this debate possible. If you hated the show, you know exactly what to do. Probably done it already. But if you like the show, maybe consider sharing it with a friend or subscribing if you've not done so already. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Thank you. I appreciate it. Even better impression of John. It made me laugh so much. It was fun to think of him while I
Hey,
was
Alan. Hey, P.
together.
Who else has joined? Is that it? Hey, SX.
If your name was Nigger and not Nathan, people would call you Nigger Oakley 1980.
Shut the fuck up.
No need, P. No need.
They would call you Nigger Oakley
Dumbass. Shut the fuck
1980.
up, P. Who the fuck are you supposed to be?
Get it?
He's a mentally ill guy. He is sometimes kind of nice, and sometimes he just goes all mental like this.
Yeah, P. Shouldn't you be gambling?
You're gambling with your sanity, dude.
I want to get a word right here with Mr. Mike really quick. Mike, let's go back to those 3 miles for a 6-foot-tall man observation. You want to go there again really quick?
I don't think he's here.
He's gone.
Mike's gone. He left.
Oh, son of a bitch.
Keep up with the flat Earth debate, Jose.
Yeah, he ran away.
No, wait, he didn't. He left. That's
You're
right,
no
he
better, Alan. You've just got a load of religious beliefs.
Oh God.
Oh
How can
no.
religion? It's not,
Oh,
my
God.
religion isn't a religion, Nathan. It's based on evidence, not faith.
Oh, really?
Get
So,
ready.
should we carry on where we left off? What's your evidence of gas pressure without a container, for instance, Alan?
I had to get a gradient inside a container.
Sorry, gas pressure
Come on, Alan.
gradient would
Get your
also
leather
require a container.
Gradient in a container.
Yeah, a gradient in a container. That's correct. You would need to have gas pressure in the first instance, a container, the necessary antecedent. So your little red herring to introduce gas pressure gradients also require a container. So it doesn't address my question in the slightest.
Does a cup have a lid?
Sorry, how do you have gas pressure without a container? You've got a spinning ball space religion. Yeah? You're going to obfuscate this crap?
What are you talking about? You don't need a
Shut up,
container
Pete.
to have gas
Shut up.
pressure.
Shut your mouth. Shut up,
You're
or I'll
the
kick
only
you
one who
out.
says that.
Shut your mouth or I'll kick you out, P, you asshole.
P is not the only one who says it.
Right,
His
let's
Lord
kick him
and
out.
Master
Bye-bye,
John.
P, you asshole. You're not going to obfuscate this. Alan's going to have his toes held to the fire.
No, I'm not.
Well, how do you have gas pressure? Why isn't it dispersing into the vacuum?
You're reading from a script? John's
No, he knows this by heart, Alan. You know that.
Of course I do.
Right, let's look directly
Oh,
into
you
my
are.
camera.
Great show earlier. I enjoyed
Asshole.
that.
Hello? How do you have gas pressure considering you are next to a vacuum in your space religion? No script. Me asking an asshole with a space religion where you get the gas pressure.
You kiss your daughter with that mouth.
Asshole, where do you get gas pressure? Hello? Hello, you're just going to obfuscate this? Talk about my daughter? Is that what you're going to do? Is it talk about my daughter rather than answer the question, Space Monkey?
That was
you
funny.
laugh it up, Space Monkey. Where do you get gas pressure? Why isn't it dispersing into the vacuum? You religious zealot. Answer my question, religious zealot. You're just here to pump your religion into us.
Do you know the religious zealot thing?
You are a religious zealot with a space monkey religion. You can't answer my question, can you? All you can do is use the same shit technique of asking me where we get gas pressure gradients. What a wanker. So that doesn't answer my question, does it, Space Monkey?
Space Monkey.
Yeah, you are a space monkey. I want an answer. How is it that we still have pressure? Why does it not disperse into the vacuum of your space religion?
One-on-one, Alan, defend yourself. Come on.
Yeah, defend yourself, you space monkey muppet.
Oh, nobody talks to me like he talks
I
to me.
do. I talk to you like a space monkey wanker.
No,
Oi, I'll call you whatever the fuck I like. Oi, cunt. Oi, asshole. Why do you have this space monkey religion about a vacuum of space?
If you would met somebody talk to you like that in the pub,
I'll talk to you however I like, Alan. If you were in the pub, I'd knock you on your ass. I'm 6'2". I would knock you on your ass. So answer my question, you absolute coward. Answer my question, you absolute coward. Why is it we have gas pressure?
Paper bag.
You're just a coward. You're a coward. You're a coward, Alan.
If you want to meet me, you can.
I don't want to meet you. I want an answer to my question, you coward. Don't let him obfuscate it. Just ask him with me. Just back me up, guys. Ask him the same question. You religious zealot. Why doesn't the gas pressure disperse into the vacuum, Alan?
Oh, crikey. Goes from
Alan, why doesn't the gas pressure disperse into the vacuum of your space religion?
Because it doesn't.
No, that's not an answer. That's just a religious belief.
Nathan, there's a force at work.
It just does is not an answer. That's a religious belief, Alan. Are you a complete fucktard?
Well, how are you breathing then?
Yeah, that's my question to you, given that you have a vacuum next to the gas pressure that I am breathing, Alan.
Do you think it's a perfect vacuum?
Your religion's a vacuum, and I'm asking how we have gas pressure. Is this just all you've got obfuscation for your religion? Why is it that you're defending this religion, Alan?
And you run through the script. Just letting you run through the script.
I haven't got a script. Let's put my camera on again for this asshole. No script. Me asking a religious zealot fucktard why he has a vacuum next to gas pressure. And when I ask how that's possible, he says it just is.
Well, do you think it's not possible?
I don't care. I haven't got a space monkey religion.
Got an answer to anything.
I'm not making the assertion I don't believe in a vacuum of space, muppet. You do. You're the one with this religious belief, you idiot. Don't laugh. You're the one with the religious belief, muppet.
And you're the one that believes a fundamentalist Christian.
Excuse me. This isn't going to get sidetracked and changed subject. Why isn't the gas dispersing into your space monkey vacuum? You can laugh it up. You've got a religious belief, Alan. This is you getting taught a new asshole, Alan. Me pointing out what a religious fucktard zealot you are, because you can only laugh when I point out how your religion fails. You can't have gas pressure next to a vacuum, Alan. You fucktard religious zealot.
You can, yes you can.
Oh, how so? How so, Alan? You can? Excellent. How so?
Yes. How do you measure gases out?
That's not telling me how you have gas pressure next to a vacuum, is it? That's a question. What a religious zealot. What a fucktard. So you can't answer. You can say it is. You can say yes it does. But then you have to ask me a question. When I say, oh really? How so, Alan? How so? How can we have gas pressure without a container, Alan? How is that possible? How is that possible, Alan?
Alan, it's going to be so fun to expose you people as criminals.
Yeah, I'm exposing you as a religious zealot, Alan. And all you can do is laugh and ask me questions. Isn't that right, Alan? All you can do is laugh.
You're in a criminal mafia. You criminal. You're a criminal.
That's all he's got, laughter. So, why isn't it dispersing into the vacuum, Alan?
Because it's not a perfect vacuum.
Oh, sorry, not a perfect vacuum. It's 10 to the minus 11 torr! You complete retard. So why isn't it dispersing, Alan?
How are you breathing it?
That's my question to you, Alan. Are you stupid?
No.
So you don't have an answer to this space monkey religious belief that you have in a vacuum of space then? Just a religious belief? Like Mike, like the other guy who came on and just said, I haven't really thought about it. You came on and now you're in front of me, aren't you? With me saying, how is this possible? And what I get is little schoolgirl giggles. It's just so. It's just possible. You want to meet me in the pub for a fight? You idiot. That's all you've got.
Just like
Distraction.
You.
Talk about my daughter rather than answer questions. Talk about fighting in a pub rather than answer questions. Giggle rather than asking questions. Ask me a question rather than answering the question. You are a religious zealot, Alan. You haven't got an answer. You've just got questions for me, haven't you?
Criminal. Fraud. Criminal.
Zealot. Globetard. Nutter.
Hey, Alan, at least the traditional religions, they get their money by donations. Your religion steals money through taxation. You are a criminal.
Oh, God, are you a free man on the land?
You are a religious zealot. Here to assert your belief in space. You're a zealot with a space belief. That's what you're here for, Alan. You've got no evidence of it, and you can only giggle or ask me questions when I ask you these troubling questions about your religion. Troubling for you because you've got no evidence for them. And when I ask how we have gas pressure without a container, you just talk over me because you're an asshole with a religious belief who can only talk over people who ask you difficult questions.
Repeat.
Yeah, repeat until you give me an answer. Yeah. Oh, is it troubling? Do you not like the same question being asked that you can't answer? Yeah, I'd be troubled by it too, Alan, because I don't have a space monkey religion about space being a vacuum. I can answer this question. I don't know. I don't know what's up there. You have to say we've got a vacuum of space and we're going to Mars because you're a religious zealot with a belief in a vacuum of space that can't be existing.
Who are you talking to?
You religious zealot fucktard. Are you stupid? Is this another giggle moment?
Nathan, he's worse than a religious zealot. He's a little Eichmann. He's literally part of a criminal cabal. Literally.
Let's not attack Alan. Alan is burying himself. It's a one-on-one. Nathan and Alan is losing this debate. I love it. I'm loving it. I just love the interaction.
Yeah, but Alan is a virtual conspirer. He believes that he is with the controllers because he upholds the system.
And that's why he's
sad.
Suffer.
Maybe he'll get a reward, a little dog treat for being a good boy.
Are we?
Little Eichmann. Little Eichmann.
Eichmann?
Yeah. Do you know what a little Eichmann refers to, Alan?
No. What was a little Eichmann?
Research it. Little Eichmann.
No, you tell me. You explain. You made the claim.
You're not a Nazi prison guard. You're not Hitler. You're just one of the little paper pushers for a cabal.
Wow.
You're a little Eichmann.
Wow.
Yeah,
yes,
wow. We ask how your space religion works, and you giggle.
Straight to Nazi.
You giggle.
Yeah,
wow.
Pretty much.
Wow.
Yeah, wow. Yeah. All you've got is to giggle. We ask how the fundamental part of your religion works, and all you can do is giggle. Or talk over me and accuse me of repeating it. Yeah, that's the basis of your religion. Space.
They look like space rats, Jose.
Change the subject. No. Yeah. We have gas pressure and your religion has a vacuum of space, Alan. That's the most fundamental part of your religion.
Okay.
No, it's not okay. You come here and assert it because you're a religious zealot.
You
not
sound
okay.
like a religious
Not
zealot,
okay,
though.
Alan. Not in the slightest bit okay.
Like
in fact, I despise you, Alan. I despise you for the religious zealot fucktard that you are. I despise you.
Nathan, he's trying to tire you out.
He's not going to tire me out. I could go all day calling Alan a religious zealot fucktard because that's what he is.
I'll take up the mantle if you get tired. I'll get in.
But he's just trolling at this point. Just saying, like, you're totally correct, but yeah, he's not going to change. He's made up his mind.
His criminal cabal is crumbling.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!